The ones who know that gifting doesn't always mean freedom, and that even the most anointed can be addicted. Here are 8 gospel singers, real ones, who were known for their music and their drinking. No, 8 is heartbreaking. 1. Willie Neal Johnson, the face of the gospel. Keynotes: Willie Neal Johnson had a sound like thunder and anointing that could shake a stadium. Behind closed doors was known for his heavy drinking, especially on tour. Fellow musicians have quietly shared stories of late-night whiskey, stumbles before shows, and even times when fans didn't know if he was high on the spirit or something else. But here's what's wild. He kept showing up, stage after stage, voice trembling, but heart still full. He was messy, yes, but he was also mightily used. And that tension, that's what makes his story so unforgettable. 2. Joe Ligon. Joe Ligon could move a room like nobody else. As the frontman of the iconic group The Mighty Clouds of Joy, he brought gospel to mainstream audiences, blending soul, quartet, and praise. Off stage, Joe had a known love for alcohol that followed him for decades. Bandmates and close industry friends knew about the backstage drinks, the post-concert parties, and the internal battles he faced. Did it change his gift? Did it tarnish his walk? That's between him and God. But it showed that even great faith doesn't always mean freedom from struggle. 3. Robert Blair. He had a voice that rang through the South like a Sunday morning shout. He battled addiction, including alcohol, and it was a known struggle in the gospel community. Fans noticed it in his later years: slurred words during live performances, shaky moments during interviews. The passion stayed, but his body bore the burden of a battle not fully conquered. 4. Lee Williams. Lee Williams of Lee Williams and the Spiritual QCs is often remembered for his stoic delivery and humble presence. But those close to him speak of a quiet dependence on alcohol. Not wild parties, but more like private bottles, especially during long stretches of touring. He rarely addressed it publicly, but those in his circle knew it was part of his journey. He sang, "I've learned to lean on Jesus," and many believe he truly did, even while still holding on to things he hadn't fully let go.
And I found that this was home for me.
5. Slim Hunt. He led the Supreme Angels and was deeply loved in the quartet world, but alcohol was his companion for much of his career. There were stories of him missing rehearsals, showing up intoxicated, and struggling to finish concerts. His bandmates loved him, but many said his drinking almost destroyed his legacy. Yet somehow, when he sang, it still hit, because even flawed vessels can carry living water. 6. Paul Porter. Paul Porter, former lead singer of the Christianaires, has been open about his battles, not just with alcohol, but also drug addiction. For years, he sang gospel while living in a cycle of partying and pain. His transparency later in life brought healing to many, especially when he began testifying about his struggle rather than hiding it. He's a powerful reminder that what's hidden in shame can be healed in the light.
I've been praying.
7. Charles Fold. Known for his arrangements and collaborations with James Cleveland, Charles Fold was a celebrated choir director and gospel composer. But behind his musical brilliance was a quieter truth. Fold had a serious alcohol problem. Colleagues remember him as a man torn between his passion for gospel and an unshakable pull to the bottle. He never made headlines for it, but within the gospel industry, it was an open secret. 8. Whitney Houston. Arguably the most heartbreaking entry on this list, Whitney was gospel royalty from birth. Her voice was heaven sent.
So I'll go.
Her beginnings were deeply rooted in the church. Her end was a tragic mix of addiction, fame, and pain. Whitney's relationship with alcohol was well documented and often public. She'd sing gospel backstage, tears falling but heart still reaching upward. She never stopped believing, and even in her lowest moments, people say she'd sing gospel backstage. tears running down her face. Her story was a warning and a love letter. These legends remind us that calling doesn't mean perfection, that the same God who gave them the mic didn't snatch it away when they stumbled. And if he did it for them, he'll do it for you too. So if you're in a messy chapter, just remember, God still writes bestsellers with broken pens, and your story is not over, even if it starts with a bottle.